What happens when the girl who grew up in a house full of snakes, alligators, and a 13-foot boa becomes a health coach with a 9-pound cavapoo and a royal portrait? In the final season of Cruise Through HTX, I'm chatting with powerhouse pet owner Samantha Elizabeth about Sir Budwit III, her empathy machine of a dog, the cat who acts like an older sibling, and how pets help and sometimes wreck our stress, sleep, and waistlines. We go from California feed stores and rotating rescue animals to coaching Houstonians out of burnout. This episode of Cruise Through HTX is brought to you by my company, Speak Podcasting, a podcast production company that builds media empires for iconic businesses and nonprofits. If you want to launch a show, go to speakpodcasting.com to get the combo started. That's SPEKE podcasting.com. Samantha, you are holding a portrait of an adorable doggo.
Should I reveal it now?
Sir Budwit
the Third. That's my baby.
Aw.
And he is 6 years old now.
Okay.
He's a cavapoo, which is a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel and a poodle put together. And he's only 9 pounds. He's just the littlest thing.
Wait, he looks big in the portrait.
You know what? This is him as a prince.
Okay.
You know, for anybody that can see this.
You got to be larger than life.
Yes, exactly. Okay. And I'm, my cat, Daisy Bell, she will be very upset that I didn't bring hers, but I don't have hers yet. Oh. That's the next gift.
Cats kind of tend to, if I had to guess, cats will be less likely to be jealous of something like that than a dog.
I don't know. They're like siblings. They play off each other quite a bit.
No way.
Yeah, where they're just like, one of them is getting pets and the other one will come up and go, I'm sorry, excuse me?
I'm mom's baby, not you.
I know exactly. Who are you?
You're the adopted one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was here first, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, tell me how Sir Budwig and your kitty cat play into your life and your career. You're a coach.
Yes.
And you're a podcast host. Mm-hmm. So how do they factor in? How do they factor into all of this?
Yeah. So I'm a health coach. So I do work with people on losing weight, stress management, and actually having pets does play a lot into stress management, good or bad.
Yeah.
So I do that, but I do want to go back in time a little bit.
Sure.
If you're willing to go back.
Absolutely. Please, let's do it.
All right. So why I have pets, because not everybody's a pets person.
Correct.
Some people get pets, and they don't realize how much work they are, but growing up, I certainly did. I certainly knew how much pets were and, how much time and energy, and then also how much you had to take care of them, just as you would do with a child.
It's more than feeding and letting them out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're your fur babies, right, in some cases, or maybe they don't have fur because the people have reptiles as pets and things like that. But I actually grew up in California, or for the most part in California. I lived there for several years. And my family owned a chain of feed stores. And I come from a long line of vets as well.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when we had the feed store, we would get people dropping off pets all the time that they didn't want. And of course, we sold animal feed there. We weren't a pet store. There was no pet store in town,
Or a pet shelter, and people were just turning their animals in like, hey.
Exactly.
Here.
Or they would find an animal on the side of the road and they would bring it to our pet store because we knew what to do with it. So we had vets, we all had some kind of training, or maybe not even formal training. But we had some kind of training where we would go and we would take care of the pets.
Yeah.
So my house was always having a rotation of all of these different pets. We had, of course, cats and dogs, and we had hamsters, gerbils, all of the typical type of fur baby kind of pets that people have. But then we also had a lot of reptiles. We had a snake that was 13 feet long, and she was...
Not terrifying.
No, not at all. She almost ate the dog one time. But
other than that, definitely not terrifying.
No, not at all.
But back to the snake, which I'm sure you named, something nice and dainty.
Oh, her name was Lola.
It's the first name I would have thought of.
Right, exactly.
Comes to 13 foot long.
As a steak, right? That's what you would name a steak. But she was about a foot around, I would say. She was huge.
Like girthy, like circumference.
She could eat cats and dogs for sure.
Oh, geez.
And so we'd have to keep her away from those cats and dogs. But she lived in a big tank. And so in our garage, we also had turtles. Okay. We also had other types of snakes. And then we also, at one time, we had a crocodile. a baby crocodile. I forget what you call it, baby crocodile. But then we also had alligators for a long time too.
Okay, so the difference between crocs and alligators is that crocs have pointier snouts, correct? Or is it the other way around?
Alligators have pointier snouts.
Okay. That's like the main difference.
Crocodiles have like more
right?
of a boxy, type of snout.
Both will eat you and not even think twice about it.
Yes, exactly. But we also had horses. We had all sorts of animals in our house in constant rotation.
Yeah.
Birds galore. You're always hearing birds. It sounded like we had the jungle going on in our house.
Sounds a lot like that.
Yeah, definitely. So that's how I grew up. Constant rotation of animals to take care of, to feed, to be able to take care of. Of course, lots of feces everywhere, it seemed like at all times.
I bet you built your immune system up real nice.
Let me just tell you, I don't have a weak stomach. Because the thing is that like when you think about it and you're taking care of animals, and I also worked in elder care too, it's just like you just don't have a weak stomach, for medical stuff or that. And it was just, as I grew up, one of the things that we always laughed about is that we usually had like poop talk or like some kind of vet talk or something like that at dinner. And nobody was squeamish or anything like that. And we always just seemed to get on the subject of what new medical thing our animals were going through at that time and what we had to do in order to get them well.
To get them well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always like the conversation. It was just a means to an end. You're trying to figure something out. You're problem solving. You're solution oriented.
Yes.
You're trying to fix something.
Yes.
It's what humans tend to try to do, at least for the most part.
Yeah, definitely.
We're fulfilling our mission, and it just so happens to be at dinner table. At the dinner table.
Exactly.
No big
It's
deal.
at the dinner. Yeah, I mean it's just normal talk, there. So I did grow up with pets, and I always wanted pets. I didn't want an alligator, though. I'm just going to tell you right now.
I mean, really, who does besides Crocodile Dundee and those crazy people in Louisiana and Florida?
I know, right? They want an alligator for a pet. But, one of the things is that I always knew that I was going to grow up. I was going to want pets. I wanted cats and dogs. And, of course, I have a dog now. I have a cat.
Yeah.
And I foresee myself in the future having more pets. I foresee having goats and chickens, and all sorts of different animals. I want to live on land as well, too, have a tiny home, all of that kind of stuff. Maybe have a garden. Although I'm going to tell you right now, I can keep a pet alive, but I cannot keep a plant alive. Oh. I kill plants so easily.
Yeah, the green thumb is more like gangrene thumb. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a green thumb whatsoever, and it's really terrible because when somebody gives me a house plant, I tell the plant, I am so sorry, but you're eventually going to die, and I just don't have a green thumb whatsoever. And I did have some outdoor plants too. Yeah. They all died. Every plant in my house dies, unfortunately.
So how does all of this play into you being a health coach that's nursing people, coaching people back into health here in the Houston area?
Yeah, absolutely. So in college, I studied psychology, and that was something that I wanted to do. Originally, I wanted to be a nurse. I'm going to tell you that because I worked in childcare and elderly care, and I thought, I want to take care of people.
Yeah.
So I went through psychology courses, and I realized I don't want to be a counselor. So eventually, I found coaching. Coaching is not new, but it's certainly something that people don't normally get, because I think it's like therapy. But therapy is where a therapist or a counselor or whatever they want to call themselves, they look at your past and they try to heal your past in order to make your present good. A coach looks at your present and they look at where you are today and what goals you have and how to get to those actual goals.
So past, then present, but you are present and then future.
Yes, exactly. So when I'm working with people, I do ask them, have you seen a therapist? Are you working with a counselor right now? Because I want to make sure that they feel whole. I want to have them to heal their past so we can move forward, because some people are really stuck on their past. And I'm going to look at it. I'm stuck on my past. I think a lot of people are. And they're trying to move forward, but there's always those kind of things that are dragging them down. So I do recommend when I'm coaching with people that they do see a therapist at the same time, because that is so important to be able to have that wholeness of the person, to be able to move forward, because it's really hard, if you think about it, to achieve your goals in weight loss or any goal that you're trying to set in life when there's something that's dragging you back. When there's something where you can't enable yourself to move forward. So that's reason why I try to explain to people like what coaching is. You know, coaching is about achieving your goals, becoming more productive. And that's something that I really try to help people to understand of how to unlock their full potential. I do so, you know, through helping people with weight loss. I help with stress management too. And this is where the pets come into play again.
Right.
So pets can be stressful, depending on if you have a problem child, if you will.
There are no problem children when it comes to dogs, though.
Oh no, they're
None.
the most obedient creatures, right? Sometimes, but no, I mean there's some times where you'll wake up in the morning and your cat has thrown up on the floor, or your dog has pooped or peed, or something has happened, and that, or you're going through a stressful time and something happens with them.
Yeah.
Something medically, and so I want to kind of put a pin on that because that's a lot of times that's not 100% of the time, of course.
Right.
Most of the time, pets are great for your health.
They are.
Yes.
Very therapeutic.
Yes, exactly. Because not only if you have a dog or you have something, you know, or an animal or something that needs exercise, you're going to get out there and do exercise with that. So you're going to take your dog for a walk, and that's a good stress reliever is to get some activity in. They also help with emotional support too.
Oh, do they?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So my dog is an empathy dog, and anytime I'm crying or he feels my emotions.
Yeah.
So he will definitely walk up. The cat, not so much, you know.
That sounds very feline-like, actually. I mean, par for the course.
Right, exactly. But dogs normally can feel or sense, you know, when you're feeling sad. Even birds can do that too, or several different types of pets, and they will try to comfort you.
You know, it's so interesting that you say that, and I've seen different videos and read different magazine articles about how dogs absorb your energy, and it almost like it's actually kind of heartbreaking. Not kind of, but it is heartbreaking because it's like, wow, they're absorbing all of your pain so that you don't have to suffer.
Yeah.
And what does that do to them? And because they literally cannot talk and communicate,
Right.
They can't tell you, all right, Samantha, listen, I've had enough. I know you had a bad day, but I'm going to go and lay down on the couch now.
Yep.
They cannot tell you that.
No.
But it's, you made me think of something just this past week, and every now and then I'll get poopy pants.
Sure.
Sometimes, you know, as a business owner, the results don't match the effort.
Yes.
And I was feeling really poopy pants and in my feelings, as the kids would say, and I had laid down on the couch before making dinner. And I think my dog, for the first time, and we've had this guy for about 9 years, and for the first time ever, he came and he got on the couch and he cuddled with me.
Oh my gosh.
Like on the couch and like nuzzled up. Like, and we're talking about a 42-pound dog, so he's not like it's not like Sir Budwig.
Yeah.
You know, this is a medium-sized dog.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, even the dog knows.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's amazing though.
Yeah.
And you're right, because when I work with people on empathy, now I'm an empath and I'm like a very strong empath, you know, because I do absorb other people's emotions, you know, too.
It's a lot.
Yeah. And if a friend is going through a hard time emotionally, I'm going through a hard time with them. And this is something that I do teach and that I'm working on myself, is teaching others how to unload that empathy. So that way you're not being dragged down by it. But you certainly can't talk to a pet and say, okay, so I'm going to give you some of my emotions and I need you to just kind of like absorb them, but then let them go. You can't tell that to a pet.
Right.
So that's something that, you are feeding into their own emotions. They're feeling your emotions too, which is why at the end of your emotional poopy pants, if you will, that you actually do something fun with them. You bring their mood back up because, yes, they are absorbing it, and you need to do something to counteract that. Once you feel it, though, I mean, don't try to do it because they're also going to sense, like, if you're doing the fake it until you make it or something like that, they're really going to,
right.
they know. They feel those vibes.
You can't fake that.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're on a whole other level, like a whole other frequency.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, they are. I think that, oh gosh, we're going to get into this. But, I mean, you know how sometimes cats stare into a corner of a room or something like that, and you're thinking, what's in that corner or something? Yeah. You know, like, I know some people do speculate that cats are on a different dimension than us sometimes.
I think my dog is, because sometimes he does that.
Yeah.
He'll just stare, and I'm like, it's a wall right there, dude.
Yeah, yeah. Or sometimes I hear something downstairs, and I'll look at my dog and my cat to see if they're reacting to what's downstairs. So I'm thinking, like, is it a threat? Or is it just like my fridge making a noise or something?
Yeah.
You know, like that is something that I definitely look at. I look to them to tell me, should I be panicking right now that somebody's downstairs or something?
Yeah.
But those are the kind of things. It's just... It's something that you definitely need to consider when you have pets too. It's just like children as well. They feel your feelings as, you know, too. Not everybody is born with a strong sense of empathy, but you certainly know that people do develop it, and they could develop it really early too, which is, you know, why parents also need to watch their emotions in front of children. Don't totally hide your emotions, because then children are really going to feel like they have to hide their emotions too. But that is something that with kids, with pets, with anybody also, watch your emotions and, you know, make sure that you're coming in with authenticity, you know, with your emotions, that you are also, if there's heavy times, that you're trying to find the lighter times too. Mm-hmm. But, you know, also pets, you know, provide, you know, a lot with routine as well, you know, for people that don't have established routines. And then, of course, you know, they do provide that level of care, and especially with people that I work with that have depression. I do offer to them that, hey, you don't actually have to adopt a pet, but you might want to foster pets, you know, because if you have depression and you don't want to take care of yourself, taking care of another person or another being is going to help you to be able to kind of get out of that funk.
Right. Yeah. And so what do you see as like the biggest pain point that you're solving right now as a health coach? Are you working primarily with people that are trying to ditch a few pounds?
Yes. So I do work with people that are on GLP-1s.
Okay.
And, you know, that is something where people go to a doctor to get that shot, you know, to get that weekly shot, to get the dosage, you know, for GLP-1s. And that is something that you do still have to eat right. You need to work out. It's not a miracle.
Right.
So that is something that I really find with people, is that they want to take the shot and they want it to just work wonders on their body.
It's not a set it and forget it.
Yeah, exactly.
And you lose muscle mass.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
With losing muscle mass, that's the reason why I really lean into strength training with people, because if they don't do strength training, yes, they're going to lose that muscle mass. Yes, they're going to lose weight, you know, that way. But unfortunately, what's going to happen is as soon as they get off the medication, because they lost so much muscle mass, for one thing, they're going to be weak and they're going to really feel it. But the other thing is that they're going to plateau at that point. They're not going to continue to lose weight, because if you have, the more muscle mass that you have, the more that you burn fat naturally. So when you are working on strength training, and this is what I always tell people, if you're going to put together an effective workout plan, you're going to want to do three things. One is cardio, which is what everybody thinks about. Everybody thinks like, I want to lose weight, so I'm going to get out there and start running. I'm going to start walking. You know, I'm going to get out there and dance. Whatever people do for cardio, that's automatically where people go to lose weight. But then I tell them you need to work on strength. So the people that I work with on GLP-1s, strength comes first, cardio comes second. And then equally as important too is mobility and stretching. So when you stretch or you work on your mobility, it actually does break down your muscles in a good way. So not in a bad way where you're losing muscle mass, but it helps break down your muscles. So that way your body can build them up even stronger. And so that way you can continue to build, you know, to burn fat and be able to get to a better and healthier place where you're getting that thin, lean body that you want or whatever type of body that you want. If you want to work on your booty or, whatever it is.
Yeah.
There's so many exercises now of how to like build up your glutes,
Right.
To get that booty that everybody wants, right?
Yeah. I mean, Lord knows I'm doing all kinds of exercises to work on mine, but that's another conversation for a different time. No, but I love how you're talking. And I've never heard it put this way, that when you're coaching clients, you're telling them, okay, yeah, if you're going to be on this GLP-1,
yes,
strength training first. And I got to tell you, Samantha, I used to run 6 times a week and no weight training.
Yes.
Now, I literally, I think, have the heart of a marathon runner. I've never even ran a half marathon, but because I used to run between 3 and 5 miles 6 times a week.
Yeah.
And then I was told by a health coach that was trying to sell me on his coaching program, he's just like, yeah, you're overtraining. He goes, don't overdo it. Yep. And so I'm like, oh, okay, well, that must be why I have palpitations. So I dialed that back. And so now it's like twice to 3 times a week if I'm lucky that I did get out and do the cardio, same kind of cardio, get my David Goggins on. But strength training hurts. And I do not like the pain. And I will tell you, I would much rather suffer during a Houston summer and the heat index is 110 in a 4-mile run than work on a high intensity interval training set where I'm doing kettlebells, presses and curls and lap pulls and whatever.
Yeah, I was about to mention HIIT. Because, that is something where it combines all 3 normally. Not so much the mobility and stretching, but yes, you're right. High intensity interval training. That is something where you do work on cardio and strength at the same time.
That's worse than strength training because you're implementing it's healthier. I'm just saying it hurts more because you're working so much harder.
You are. Yeah. You're combining all of those different moves or positions that you can do. And, not only that, but you can burn so many calories in a HIIT training. You can do like 500, 600 calories in a 30-minute window. And so if you only have a 30-minute window, perfect. But at the end of it, you might be dead. No, I'm just joking.
I might be dead.
If you're brand new to it, start off at 10 minutes, work your way up to 15, all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, weights. I just do not like weights. I just don't like them.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that would rather do weights and not cardio because they don't like running. Well, a lot of people think that in order to get your cardio, that you need to be, just pushing yourself to the max all the time. And honestly, I run on a treadmill in air conditioning. I don't do the outside, although I am doing a 5K here pretty soon. But that's one thing that a lot of people don't realize is that you don't have to be so intense in your cardio. Yes, you want to get your heart rate up, and there are different zones, depending on, where you normally are, in your heart rate.
Right.
But that is something that, what you want to look at. You want to look at what intensity do you want to go at? And some days I'm like walking 2 miles an hour, to do my recovery days because the day before did like a 30-minute 5-mile-an-hour run, and that is fast. That was sweaty. That was, kind of crazy for me. So it's definitely something where you want to, if you're a beginner, you want to go at your own pace and you want to listen to your body too. And certainly, yes, don't overtrain.
Yeah. What is your favorite thing to do? Like, if you can only do one exercise, one type, and let's just pretend here that this is the end all. This is the miracle drug of exercising.
Yes.
And this is going to get you your cardio, all the benefits of everything.
Yes.
What is the one thing?
This is a wonderful question because I actually do have a little bit of a story.
Okay.
I'm going to. No, spoiler alert here. It's walking. If I could walk, and one time, my sister was a marathon runner. Okay. And she always talked about, you need to get out there and run. And I'm like, I hate running so much, I still hate running, but I do it. But I told her she was going and doing a marathon, and being the little sister that I am, I wanted to one-up her. And I told her, I don't want to run, but I can certainly walk forever.
Yeah.
So in one weekend, I did 42 miles.
Oh.
Yes, walking. So I went down to downtown Houston or wherever that is, Memorial area.
Okay.
There's a Memorial Loop that is 3 miles long.
Okay, you're at Memorial Park. Okay.
Yes. So the Memorial Loop, and I got loop crazy, if you will, because just walking around and around and around. And of course, there's a Bex Prime right there. So lunchtime, I would stop in there and eat lunch, and then I would get back on it. And I would just keep going. So I did 21 miles each day. And let me tell you something. It took me about a week and a half to fully recover from that because that is a lot. But it's better than a marathon is what I told my sister. So that was kind of the joke between us is that I told her I don't like to run, but I can walk forever. And I did.
Wow.
I did a lot of walking that weekend. And I had some friends that came out because I posted it on social media and said, hey, if you want to come out and support me, if you want to walk with me, you don't have to walk the entire time because you're not that crazy. But if you want to walk with me. So I did have some friends that joined me and joined me for a loop or two. And that was a lot of fun.
You ever hear the Japanese monks that run 100 miles? Like, what is it? They run 100 miles for 100 days or something crazy like that. It's an extraordinary number.
Yes.
But they run a lot.
I think I've heard of this.
Yeah. That's like a whole other level of trying to achieve whatever it is. Like,
it is.
To challenge your body, to see what you're capable of.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, don't we all want to just reach our maximum potential?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think I think that some people look at like Ironmans, and, those kind of like ultra marathons, or even there was this one that I just recently heard about where people are basically running mountains, and they're going through all of these like tough terrains, and of course, there's broken bones that are happening along the way and all that. I mean, it's like really tough. There's some people that look at that and go, nope, and I'm okay with that. I'm one of those people too. I will never do an ultra marathon. I will never do a triathlon, and I will never do an Ironman, which I think is just a triathlon on steroids.
I think so. But what you're talking about reminds me of this event, and I don't even know if they still do it, but it's in New Zealand, and the name gives it away. It's called The Revenant.
Oh.
Yeah. And you don't have any technology. Like this is the rule. Like no technology.
Yep.
I think they arm you with a compass, like a traditional regular compass,
Sure.
like, whatever. And good luck.
Right.
Via con Dios.
Right.
And then there's another one that's over in Gloucester, Maine, called Last Man Standing.
Okay.
So it's Labor Day Saturday, and it starts, I think, at noon or whenever, and you run 4.1 or 4.2 miles.
Okay.
Okay. At the top, it starts at noon Saturday. Okay. And it's 4 point whatever miles every hour until the last man
standing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay, so those things are, of course, like our bodies as human can do pretty amazing things.
More than we can ever imagine.
Oh my gosh, I know, because we still have not unlocked our full potential.
It's so sad to me that here I'm 50 and I know that there's so much more that I can do if I just push myself a little bit more.
Yep.
But, pardon the French, but my inner bitch just gets me. It gets me. It's like, no, Freddie, lay down on the couch.
Right, exactly.
No,
well,
Freddie.
Our bodies, our minds, they always want to do the easier thing.
Go get the brownie.
Yeah, exactly. Mine's cupcakes, Pringles and cupcakes. Those are my weaknesses. But you're absolutely right. Our minds and our bodies want to do the easiest route. And, there are people that have figured out how to be lazy but still active at the same time. Those are, lazy on purpose people or lazy efficiencies or, whatever.
They've operationalized.
Right, exactly. They operationalize their life, by being lazy and figuring out the quickest way to get to things. And
that's literally working smarter.
Yeah, exactly.
And figuring out a way to not suffer.
Right, exactly. There's like time, and that's probably the reason why HIIT training was invented, because they were like, how can I combine two things in one,
Yeah.
And I only have so much time, and you can only do it up for like a certain amount of time. I don't know why I'm talking in that voice, but it's like.
Oh, man. So, okay, before we wrap.
Yes.
Tell us about the podcast. I love it. So as a podcast producer that owns a podcast production company, I am a fan of the fact that you are in and out in roughly 90 seconds without any bloviating beforehand. So talk about the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a podcast called Stress Mess, a stressless podcast, and it's about stress management. And that is something that I definitely touch upon with people. That's one of the things is that this is kind of my revitalization of the podcast. So the original format was I would ask people, tell me about your stress and tell me about your stress management. Then tell me a funny story. And so it was like a 3-parter, type of podcast. Nobody wants to hear people talk about their stress. They already have stress in their life.
Oh.
So it's like some people just probably look at that segment, of the podcast and say, man, what a whiner, even though they're whining about their own stress, right?
Right.
So that's something that I realize that I tell my guests on the podcast, don't mention stress. Mm-hmm. We're just going to talk about life. We're going to talk about something funny. Let's tell some funny stories. It's a conversation. Mm-hmm. So that's what I normally prep folks to do, is to sit down and, think about something that they would like to talk about and let's see where it goes from there. It's a conversation. It's not necessarily a Q&A, where I'm asking them a question and they give me an answer and then it's back and forth. I really want it to be an open conversation and I like to see where it goes because it always can go in a fun direction. I'm a tangent person and I will definitely go on millions of tangents in a single conversation with me where all of a sudden I'm down this rabbit hole and then I realize, wait, how did we get here? And you have to backtrack and then, my original point is, and that sort of thing. I love those kind of podcasts, me in particular. I'm not going to say that everybody does love those because some people just say, get to the point,
Right.
Like they just want somebody to absolutely get to the point. But I like those kind of conversations. And so that's why it's Stress Mess. It's really just about life and how people deal with life and weird or amazing things that happen in their life and trying to get people that are relatable, if you will, that you can truly relate to somebody, or maybe you just want to learn something about something new, in that, or get to know somebody. So that's what Stress Mess is about.
Love that. And it's fun. It's you got fun theme song, you got the cute podcast cover. And so, it works.
Yeah. I got to say that I rebranded Stress Mess too, because the old branding was boring. It was supposed to be calm and serene, but it was just boring to me. So I was like, you know what am I going to do? And I decided, and that song was written actually for the podcast. By a friend. So it was
no royalty-free music subscription that you had to download and
no.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So I was like, I want something fun and cheery. I want the brand to be fun and cheery, so there's the sun, there's all of that kind of thing, all of my personal branding on it and everything. I'm like smiling and I'm pointing to a sign that says swearing is allowed, and all that kind of stuff because swearing is allowed on my podcast as well too. But those kind of things that I look at, is to say what real conversation is going to have with people. Mm-hmm. And I love that. I love that for them.
Love it. Well, Stress Mess you can find wherever you get your favorite podcasts, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, all the places. And please tell everybody about where to find out about your coaching program, how they can get connected.
Well, it's very simple. SamanthaElizabeth.com. That's my website. If you go there, you're going to find all about my consulting that I do, as well as my coaching, and anything that you want to find out about me, I put on my website, or you can check out my social media as well too. I do put a lot of personal stuff, on my social media because I do feel that people want to see a vulnerable person. I'm not a perfect person, and nobody else is, so I don't think that people want to necessarily work with a coach that says, I'm the most perfect human being in the world. Let me show you how to be perfect too. Nobody wants that. People want to relate to your coach and be able to find ways that person has discovered, for themselves of how to break through, all of the chaos, and you be able to help you set a good plan that is actually actionable.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being a part of the show.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.